I did a video some time ago about science fiction favourites, and one of them was The Thing, John Carpenter's classic from 1982, big one, 1981, 1982. And I was just thinking recently that, well, I said it was a remake, okay, in the tradition of, such classic remakes like Body Snatchers and of course The Fly, which I'm not going to have. I'm not really interested in that, but yeah, The Thing. I've just recently sort of realised it wasn't a remake. Now, it was based on a short story way back in the 30s that was published in a science fiction magazine called Who Goes There, and the film, John Carpenter's film, centred around the shape-shifting creature, of course, which is, of course, the main essence of the story, was what it was all about. But the original film, the black and white version, which I think was 1956, that didn't do anything of the kind. It wasn't really based upon the story. So technically, and I hate to sound like an anorak here, science fiction anorak, but The Thing was not a remake. John Carpenter's film is not a remake, technically. It's an original film in its own right, and it was the first film actually based upon that short story. So the black and white version is a film which is nothing to do with it, really. It has to be said, it was a completely different story. It was not really based upon the short story on which they say it was supposedly based on. So The Thing is a terrific film, basically in its own right, and it is not technically a remake. But the reason this occurred to me is because, of course, there was just recently, last year in fact, I think it was, when a new one was made. The Thing, again, just called The Thing, and I was under the impression that it was a remake of the John Carpenter film, which, of course, well, had me immediately sort of rolling my eyes in bewilderment. Why remake something like that? What was the point? So I wasn't going to touch it, and I turned it down at the cinema when it was released. But the surprise was that my mate actually went to see it. He goes to see a lot of films. He's got a Megapass, which I have not. But he went to see The Thing as a last-minute thing, and he told me that it was actually very good. It's actually, and spoiler here, by the way, hope you've seen it. If not, then, well, don't listen to this bit. It was actually a prequel. What they cleverly did was they just called it The Thing, the producers of this film, and it's really set in the Norwegian scientific camp where the previous story had started off, where they went to investigate at the beginning of John Carpenter's film. So yes, it is technically, now this is a prequel, this new film, but they didn't call it The Thing the prequel, they didn't call it The Thing 2, or they didn't call it The Thing the beginning or something. They didn't give it some ridiculous subtitle. What they did was, and I suppose this is the most surprising thing of all actually, they were actually quite smart about it, and they were actually very quiet about its release. There wasn't much in the way of marketing. There certainly was no multi-million-dollar budget behind its marketing campaign. I hardly ever saw any trailers for it at all. And apparently the film is, of course, it's in Norwegian, basically. It stars a bunch of Norwegian actors, actresses, and it is in Norwegian. There's subtitles on the film, as my mate told me. So, and the CGI, apparently, is also very good. It's not done in a cold way, it's done in a much better way. It's just done really well. Some bits are not, some bits are. And that was also another surprise. So I don't mind saying I'm actually going to check this film out when it comes out on DVD. Actually, it already is out, but I'm going to wait till it goes down in price. But I am interested in seeing this film, and I'm certainly going to buy a copy before not too long, when it goes, like I say, right down in price. But yeah, it did surprise me, the fact that they didn't actually screw it up. Excuse my French. They actually did it very well. They produced it well. They gave it a decent title. No ridiculous subtitle, like I said. They just called it The Thing. And they just said probably said to themselves, well, okay, Many of you are going to think this is a remake, but it's not. But let's just keep quiet about that. Don't market it too heavily. Not many trailers, they didn't, and it possibly did very well. I don't know actually what the box office takings were. If it flopped, then it flopped, but somehow I don't think it did. It probably did very well, certainly better than John Carpenter's film, unfortunately, because that did bomb. But that was another time. But yeah, so The Thing has basically never been remade, which is quite unique and unusual, really. And it's basically two films that are sort of related, but they're not related. They all stand up as their own thing, and they're all very, very decent science fiction thrillers. Not that I've seen this new prequel yet, but I'm actually looking forward to that. When I get a chance, I will see it, and I won't see it, obviously. I'll buy a copy, and I think it might be pretty good. So, yeah, I was very surprised by that, to be honest, when my mate told me all about it. But it gives me hope that when they do get it right, they get it very, very right. And it's a very nice, not tribute, but thumbs up to John Carpenter's 1981, I think it was 1982 classic effort. So I don't think John Carpenter had anything to do with this prequel, but I'm sure he'd be probably rather proud of it from what I've heard from my mate. So yeah, well done to all those who made The Thing, the prequel. I don't think that's confusing at all. They just didn't call it any stupid subtitle, which is very good. So it's The Thing, but it's different, it's new, and it's got a completely different cast in it, and it's set during the events before the John Carpenter original. So yeah, well done to all the crew, and well done to those people for coming up with a really decent sci-fi thriller. Haven't seen it yet, but like I say, I will make it my business to do so. So yeah, well done to them. That's all from me. I'll see you later. Bye.